Okay, here are the notes on simplifying radicals. And this is worksheet 2. Okay, and what did we see on worksheet 1? Well, we saw some of them that were perfect square root numbers, right? The radical is the, that little symbol like this. But we're going to look at just the simple square roots, right? Like that. Okay, simplify. Okay, number 1, here we go. Ready? We're just going to jump in the water. Now you're going to have some radicals that are not perfect, like perfect square numbers. But there's still a way to simplify them, and these are the ones that get tricky. Okay. Let's say, for example, let's start like this. I'm going to break it down to you. What if you have the square root of 25 times 3? What if I have a square root of a 25 times 3? There's two numbers being multiplied, but they're separated like this for a reason. Anybody know why? Why separate? I could have put 75, right? I know 25 times 3 is 75, but I didn't. Because I'm doing this for a very good reason. What is it? Well, when you have a product of two numbers under the radical, you can split them up. You can split them up as the square root of 25 times the square root of 3. Go ahead and write that, please. The square root of 25 times the square root of 3. Does anybody recognize one of these two? One of these two is a perfect square root number. The other one doesn't. Yeah. Which one has a perfect square? See, the 25 has a perfect square number. So here you would write what? 5, and then you don't. When it's multiplication, you don't need to put a dot or you don't put plus or minus. But this is how you would write the answer: 5 root 3. Did everybody get that one? Because this one has a root, and the square root of 25 is a 5, and this one did not. So this one, the square root of 25 is 5. Okay, let's do another, number 2. What if I have the square root of 4 times 6? What if I have two numbers, a product of two numbers, but one of them is a perfect square root? Which one is it? Well, we want to write that one in the front, right? The square root of 4 times the square root of 6. And we have to separate it because one of them is going to stay under and one of them is going to become a whole number. What is the square root of 4? That's the one that has a perfect square. So it's 2 root what? 2 root 6, because the 6 cannot simplify. It's not a perfect square root. It stays under the radical. Is that okay with everybody? Okay, how about number 3? How about the square root of 5 times 9? Which one has a root? Which one has a perfect square root? 9. The 9. Does everybody agree I can write it? We want to write the one that has the perfect. We want to write that one in the front. So I'm going to write the square root of 9 times the square root of 5, yeah? So what's going to be the final simplified form of this? 3 root 5. Is that pretty easy? Is that okay with you guys? Yeah. The problem is they're not going to be factored out like this for you. You're going to have to do this part. Let me give you number 4 here. What about, let's see, the square root of, sorry. Oh, nice. The square root of 400 times 17. I know 17 doesn't have a square root. So it must be the 400, huh? And what's that going to be? The square root of 400 is a 20, and that one does not have a square root. It doesn't. So it just stays like that. Okay, are we good with that? All right. Now I'm going to give you problems that you have to simplify, but it's not going to give you this. It's not going to be broken up like that. You're going to have to figure out how to do this. This is the part that's going to make it or break it for you. Okay, here we go. Ready? Simplify. So that's, if you can get your problem to look like the ones that we just did, you know how to finish it and then write the answer, the simplified form of the answer. Okay, number one. What about the square root of 45? I have to find two numbers that multiply to 45, but one of them has to be a perfect square number. You got that? This one's, we're starting easy, right? We're starting easy. This one, I think you guys saw it right away. This one I know is going to be 9 times 5. Very good. That is 9 times 5. And once you can find that, then 45 would have to be simplified to be what? What is it going to be? 3 root 5. Okay, we're going to start off real easy. We're going to build up, okay? They're not going to be this easy. Number 2. I put this the other day and you guys were clueless. I'm going to put it here now. The square root of 80. Does anybody remember that one? I didn't even do that one. I just put it there and you guys are like, what? Okay. Go ahead and do the square root of 80. Can you tell me how you're going to figure out what number goes into 80? Like, how are you doing this? I want to know how you're doing it.
Finding what number is multiplied.
Yeah, what number is multiplied? There's a lot of factors to give me 80. I'm going to tell you how. Watch right here. Write this here on the side over here. I mean, eventually you'll get so good with this. But you're going to kind of use your calculator to help you out, okay? You got to think about, what are your perfect square numbers? What are your perfect square numbers? What do I mean by that? I'm talking about, like, see in here, which one was the perfect square number? The 9, right? You got to think about which numbers have perfect squares. Well, let's see. I'm not going to start with 1 because I know the square root of 1 is 1. We don't use 1. But the first one, do you guys agree? 4? If I see a 4 under a square root, that's a perfect square number. Because I know the square root of 4 is what? It's 2, right? But this is your perfect square number. And then what's the next one after 4? 9, right? Because the square root of 9 will give you 3. So I'm looking to divide this number by a 4. I'm looking to divide this number by a 9. Or let's just populate a list here. What would be the next one here that goes? 16. The square root of 16 is 4. You guys see what's going on here? What's another perfect square number that works under the radical? 25. You guys know this already, right? We did powers. It's kind of like looking at it backwards, exponents. 5. Okay, and so on, right? And so on. You should at least know them till like about 12 or something, right? So let's just do these real fast. Everybody agree it's going to be 36 for 6. And everybody agree it's going to be 49 for 7. And everybody agree it's going to be, what's going to be the one for 8? 4. Okay, so you got it. See, these are the numbers. These here, the ones in here, the ones under the radicals are your perfect square numbers. Okay. Now here's a clue about this. Does everybody agree if I do 80, how do I do this in the calculator? I would do, let's say, I would do, let's say, 80 divided by 9. Well, see, it's not. It's not going to work because it gives you like a bunch of decimals. But do you guys agree? You guys agree 80 can be divided by 4? Yeah. You see how it gives you 20? That's good, but that's not going to be right. I'm going to tell you something about 4. Watch out when something works with 4. Because if it works with 4, guess what's the number that you might want to consider to check? 2 doesn't have a square root. 16. Isn't 16 4 times 4? Yeah, watch out. When 4 works, when it's a big number and 4 works, check 16, because isn't 16 a multiple of 4? Well, guess what? For this problem, check 80 and divide it by 16. Guess what? 80 is divisible by 16. 80 divided by 16 is what? What does that mean that 80 divided by 16 is 5? Well, that means that 80 is what? 16 times 5. Isn't that what it means? Yeah?
There's two answers?
No, there's not 2 answers.
You can't use the 4?
Yes, you can, if you want to do extra work. I'll do it over there in a bit on the side. Okay? I'll tell you right now why the 4 works, but see, you're going to do extra work. Okay, I'm going to tell you real quick. I'm showing you the quickest way here. When the 4 works, I'm telling you right now, check the 16. Okay? And I'm going to get an answer right away. Does everybody agree the answer is what? Anybody finish this and get the simplified? What's going to be? Everybody going to get the 4 square root of 5. Okay, let me tell you why the 4 works, but yet it doesn't. Let me tell you. Let me do it right now with the 4. Does everybody agree? If I do the 4, it'll look like this. Don't copy this down. Just look real quick. Everybody agree 80 is 4 times 20? Yeah, 80 is 4 times 20. So that would be the square root of 4 times the square root of 20. And the 4 becomes a 2, right? But the problem is this. What you don't realize is you're not done simplifying. See, 20 can be simplified again. Because 20 happens to be what? You see, you're going to do double work. You're going to have to simplify it again. You don't want to be simplifying it like 2-3 times. You want to try to find the biggest factor. These perfect squares, try to find the biggest one that works. Okay? So whatever number I give you that's here, that's under the radical, try to divide it by one of these. The bigger the number, the better, and try to find the one that works. Okay? All right, here goes number 3. Ready? We're gonna try bigger numbers now. Number 3. Well, some of them will be bigger. Here we go. Let's see. Number 3. Let's try the square root of 75. How about that? Anybody can see or think about your perfect square numbers, a 4, a 9. Anybody know which one? Yeah, go ahead, Samantha. Everybody agrees 75 is divisible by 25. Well, it's like quarters, right? 3 quarters is 75 cents, or 25 times 3. Yeah, see? When you break this up into two factors, you're going to use 25 times 3. And that means it'll be 25 times the square root of 3. And then the answer is what? Now, I don't know why, and I want you to show these steps. Some people will do this. This is what I see it every year. Somebody does this. Everybody's like, yeah, mister, I know it's 25 times 3, right? And then they do this. Ready? And then they do this. Can you explain that to me? Do you see that this is wrong? Yeah, that's why I want you to do this step. I know some of you from here can probably know the answer and give me the answer. I know that. But every year somebody does this. Do you guys see what's wrong with that? Why would the 5 stay in and the 3 comes out? I don't know. Okay, let's move on. Let's get some more done. Number 4, what about, here we go. 252. 252. What are we going to try to do? If I were you, I wouldn't stop from the small numbers. I'd start from up here somewhere, right? You guys should be able to get this one. What is it? 81 is 9 and 100 is 10, right? You guys should know at least up to 100. I would start with the bigger numbers and work my way down. Let's say it's 252. This is where you're going to use your calculator. 252 divided by, am I going to try 100? No. How about 81? Is it divisible by 81? Let's see. Is it? Not when it gives you a decimal. 81 doesn't work. Let's say 252 divided by, what was the next one? 64? No, it's not. No. So you're saying it's this one? 252 divided by 49? No, it's not. Who said 49? 252 divided by 36? Okay, what does that mean? Okay, that means this is 36 times 7. Or maybe you might want to jump from here to just... Maybe you want to just do that. Is that okay with everybody? But that's what's going on. 36 times 7 is 252. You split them up. This one has a perfect square root, so it simplifies to 6 root 7. You guys see how you have to divide this bigger number to find out which number here is a perfect square that multiplies into it. Yeah? All right, let's keep going. Number 5. The square root of 320. You think it's going to be a 100 multiple? No, because it's not. Work from the top down. Anybody, let me know when you get it. You're dividing 320 by 81, or you're dividing it by 64, or you're dividing it by 49. Anybody get it? 64? Oh, let me check that. 320 divided by 64 is 5. Well, did anybody realize that 16 also works? Anybody ever check 16? Look. See, 16 also works. Now, remember back here I told you if the 4 works, check the 16? Yeah. But guess what? If the 4 works or the 16 works, guess what's also part of the 4 family? Right? Because what's 4 to the power of 1? 4. What's 4 to the power of 2? What's 4 to the power of 3? You see, that's why. So watch out with these bigger numbers. Oh, that means somebody went. Who was sitting right there? Oh, Emma went. Yeah, that's why I tell you to start with the bigger numbers and work your way down. Don't start with the smaller numbers. Okay, so this is 64 times 5. So that's 64 times 5. So the answer is? Huh? 4 root 5? The square root of 64? Good. 8 root 5. The square root of 64 is 8. Correct? Yeah. Okay. Where's my other problems? Here it is. All right, do these next 3 on your own. Ready? 6, 7, 8. 6, 7, 8. What did I just do? Oh, the square root of 384. The square root of 448. and the square root of 392. Remember, you're trying to divide each of these by what? These perfect square numbers that have perfect squares that can square root. All right, let me pause this for a bit. Okay, what did you guys get for 384? What is it? 36? No, not the answer. What is it? What is it? Oh, 64 times 6? Oh, good. So then that's going to be 64 times the square root of 6. So that's going to be 8 root 6, huh? Is that what you have? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. What'd you get for, what are the two multiples here that work? 64 again?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So, okay, well, 64 times 7, or the square root of 64 times the square root of 7, so that's 8 root 7? I hope this is not a 64. 49? 49 times 8. 8? Oh, no, then it's not 49. Anybody find another number that higher than 49 that goes into... It's 49 times 8?
Mr. 8 cannot be squared.
Try 196. Okay, let me just do it your way. You guys got 49 times 8?
Yeah.
Okay, so check it out. 49 times 8. Okay, 49 times 8 works, but let me tell you, does everybody agree you're going to get 7 root 8? This is not the final answer. Because 8 can still be simplified. 8 can be simplified still, so then that would be 7. And you guys agree that would be the square root of 4 times the square root of 2? Because 8 is 4 times 2. So what's going to happen here? That's going to be 7 times 2 and then the root 2. You always got to see if this number left inside can no longer be, but see, I know 8. 8 is, anyways, this one's 14 root 2. Okay, so there's another set of problems, but I'm gonna leave those for the next time. So I'll just stop right here. I want you guys to make sure you get these right. So I'll stop this here. I'll make another video for the second part of this assignment.